Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go!
I work nights at this little family-run gas station. We pump gas, we got a deli counter, and we sell lottery tickets. The owner treats us like family, which is nice, but it also means we deal with some real characters. I got promoted to night shift manager about a year ago, and honestly, most nights are pretty quiet. We get the usual crowd, truckers stopping for coffee, kids buying energy drinks, and then we have the lottery people. The lottery people are a whole different breed. They come in with their scratchers and their number slips, and they treat the place like it's their personal casino. Some of them are fine. They buy their tickets, scratch them off in their cars, and leave. But others practically live here. They know all the games, all the schedules, and they expect us to drop everything when they walk through the door. Working with me that night was this girl I call my work daughter. Her name is Jules, and she's this tiny thing, 4 feet 11 inches tall with blonde hair, and she looks about 12 years old even though she's 22. She's sweet, always polite to customers even when they're rude to her. I try to protect her from the worst of them, but sometimes things slip through. One of our regulars is this woman named Rhonda. If I had to describe Rhonda, I'd say imagine someone who's just as wide as they are tall. She's got this hairstyle that looks like she walked out of the 80s and never left. Big perm, way too much hairspray, but the thing about Rhonda isn't her appearance, it's her attitude. She's rude, she's loud, and she treats us like we're beneath her, and her entire life revolves around playing the lottery. Rhonda plays scratchers, but her real obsession is this game called Quick Draw. It's a timed lottery game that runs every few minutes. There's a television mounted in the corner of our store, and it displays the drawings. The way it works is pretty simple. You pick anywhere from 2 to 10 numbers. Then 20 numbers get drawn on the screen. If your numbers come up, you win. The amount you win depends on how many numbers you picked and how much money you bet. At the end of each drawing, there's this bonus wheel that spins like a roulette table. It might land on 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, or 10 times your winnings. On Thursdays between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m., there's a guaranteed bonus. Rhonda never misses Thursday nights. We have a lottery machine at the register. Customers can fill out paper slips with their numbers, and I feed those slips into the machine to print their tickets. Or I can manually punch in the numbers on the touch screen. The thing is, there's only a 2-minute window between each drawing to get your numbers in. If you miss that window, your ticket is for the next game, not the current one. Rhonda had already caused problems with Jules a few weeks back. Jules was ringing up customers in the order they came to the counter, which is how you're supposed to do it. Rhonda shoved her way to the front and demanded her quick draw tickets immediately. Jules finished with the customer she was helping first, but by the time she got to Rhonda, the window had closed. Rhonda's ticket was for the next drawing instead of the current one. The current drawing hit, and Rhonda would have won $200 if her ticket had been for that game. She went off on Jules. She called Jules a dumb little blonde witch and said she couldn't do her job right and that Jules had cost her money. Jules was almost in tears. I took over the register after that and told Rhonda if she ever spoke to my staff like that again, she'd be banned. So this Thursday night, Rhonda came in during the guaranteed bonus hours. She was sitting at one of the tables we have near the window, filling out slip after slip. I could tell she was feeling lucky because she was max betting. That means she was putting the maximum amount of money on each game. I was behind the register keeping an eye on things. Suddenly, Rhonda jumped up from the table and ran over to me. She shoved a stack of betting slips into my hands and then bolted toward the bathroom. When she was running, she said something, but I only caught part of it. I heard the word drop and the word them, so I assumed she meant drop them into the machine. I started feeding the slips into the lottery machine and it printed out her tickets. When she came out of the bathroom a minute later, I had a stack of tickets waiting for her. I told her that would be $500. Rhonda asked me what I was talking about and said no. She claimed she had told me not to drop them and that she needed to get money first. I said I heard her say drop them. She asked if I was deaf and insisted she had said not to drop them and called me an idiot. I realized I'd messed up. I should have gotten her money before printing the tickets. That's the rule. Rhonda had pulled this exact stunt a few months ago with another cashier. She'd ordered tickets, refused to pay, and the store ate a $200 loss. I should have known better, especially with Rhonda. But I'll be honest, I was a little stoned that night, and I wasn't thinking clearly. Now the store was about to lose $500 because of my mistake. Rhonda stood there yelling at me while the television in the corner started showing the current drawing. The numbers popped up one by one. She told me that this was why I worked at a gas station and called me an idiot. She said I couldn't even listen to customers properly. I looked up at the screen and watched the numbers. Then I watched the bonus wheel spin. It landed on 10 times. I looked down at the tickets in my hand and started laughing. Rhonda had hit. The ticket I was holding was worth $10,000. Rhonda noticed me laughing and looked up at the screen. Her face went pale, and then she understood. She came up to me and apologized. She asked if she could pay for the ticket now. I told her nope. I explained that she had refused to pay when I asked her to, and that she couldn't just pay now because it was a winner. I said that wasn't how this worked. She insisted I had to let her pay and that it was her ticket. I told her it wasn't her ticket because she didn't pay for it. She started screaming, absolutely losing it. And while we were arguing, the next quick draw drawing happened. That ticket hit too, $2,000. Now I was holding a ticket worth $12,000 total, and Rhonda was having a complete meltdown in the middle of my store. I called the owner. I explained everything. He was laughing so hard I could barely understand him. He told me to put the tickets in his office and then told me to put Rhonda on the phone. I handed Rhonda my cell phone. I watched her face light up because she thought the owner was going to side with her. But within seconds, her expression changed to pure rage. The owner told her she was banned from the store for causing a scene and being abusive to his staff. When she hung up, she looked like she wanted to murder me. Then she did something I'll never forget. She threw herself onto the floor, just dropped like a sack of potatoes. She started screaming that she'd broken her hip and that it was my fault. I told her I was calling an ambulance. She yelled at me not to. I said that she claimed she broke her hip, so I was calling an ambulance. I dialed 911 and told them we had a customer on the floor claiming she'd broken her hip. Rhonda tried to get up and leave, but the dispatcher told me to keep her still in case she really was injured. The ambulance showed up about 10 minutes later. The paramedics checked her out and determined she was fine. They still took her to the hospital because she insisted something was wrong. I found out later she got hit with a bill for the ambulance ride. A few weeks after that, Rhonda tried to sue us. She claimed we owed her the $12,000 from the ticket and that we should pay for her ambulance bill. She lost the case. The judge said she refused to pay for the tickets when asked, so they weren't hers. My owner gave me a $1,000 bonus out of the winnings. He said I handled it perfectly. Jules was happy, Rhonda got banned, and I learned to always get the money first no matter what. I was about 25 when I thought I had finally made it in my career as a web developer. After bouncing around a few uninspiring jobs, I landed what seemed like the perfect position at a small media company that had recently pivoted to digital marketing and web development. They were doing cutting-edge work for major clients, including the National Health Service, and the atmosphere seemed incredible from day one. The company was run by two partners. One was lighthearted and tech-oriented, the kind of guy who would join us for pub visits and actually cared about the work we were doing. The other partner was more serious, the business driver, less social but seemingly fair. He lived with the office manager, and they had a close friend working as the office assistant. The rest of us made up the media team, a mix of senior and junior designers and developers, including myself as one of the senior developers. What made this job feel like a dream? Everything, really. We had flexible hours, generous holiday allowances, and constant social events. Most lunchtimes, the tech-oriented partner and all of us on the media team would head out for lunch together, play video game tournaments in the office, or grab a pint to brainstorm new ideas. Every single Friday, we would finish at 4 in the afternoon instead of 5 and head to the pub together for drinks. The partners were transparent about their vision for the company's growth and where we would fit into that future. They welcomed our input, invited us to sales meetings, and genuinely seemed to value our contributions. We could see the company growing, landing bigger clients, doing more impressive work. I genuinely believed I would spend the rest of my career there. But success has a way of changing people. As the company grew more successful, more money started flowing in. Recognition increased. Bigger clients meant bigger budgets. And with all of that came greed. By the time the main incident happened, about 2 years after I started, the workplace had transformed into something unrecognizable. The flexible hours vanished. We had to be at our desks by 8:50 in the morning, ready to work, and we could not shut down our computers until 5 at the earliest. Often we were asked to stay late to finish projects, all unpaid overtime of course. The lunchtime socials disappeared completely. A rotation schedule dictated exactly when each of us could take our lunch break, ensuring we could never eat together anymore. Despite the workload exploding with larger and more complex websites, no new team members were hired. When the other lead developer left, they did not even bother finding a replacement. We were drowning in work with impossible deadlines, yet the promised raises and bonuses never materialized. Meanwhile, both partners were buying new cars every 6 months. The more serious partner made it clear that his plan was to sell the company when he hit 45 years old and semi-retired to pursue travel writing and photography, despite being mediocre at both. He did not care what happened to the rest of us. The business was being squeezed for every penny to make the partners rich while positioning it as an attractive acquisition target. The only remaining perk from the good old days was the 4 o'clock Friday finish, though by this point none of us went to the pub anymore. We just went home, exhausted and demoralized. One Friday afternoon, both partners and the office manager left to visit a prospective client. The office assistant was off for some reason, leaving nobody officially in charge. We all completed our work by 4 as usual, but we had not received any communication about whether we could leave. We waited until nearly 5, and with absolutely nothing left to do, we collectively decided to lock up and go home. Apparently, at 4:51 in the afternoon, the serious partner tried calling the office, probably to tell us we could leave, but we were already gone. Monday morning arrived like a bomb drop. Every single one of us was called into the main office and given an absolute bollocking. We were told that a planned social event was now cancelled as punishment and that our wages were going to be docked for leaving 10 minutes early. Now, here in the United Kingdom, making deductions from someone's salary is illegal unless it is for legally mandated reasons like taxes or national insurance, or unless the employee has given explicit written permission. I assume this threat was just bluster to scare us. That Friday, when we received our weekly pay, there was indeed a deduction from my wages and everyone else's on the media team. I approached the partners about it immediately. I explained that the deduction was illegal and that I wanted it returned. They just gave me the same lecture as before, just more condescending this time. They acted like I was being unreasonable for even bringing it up. I have always had a keen interest in law, and while I'm not a lawyer or any kind of expert, I know enough to stand up for myself. With the backing of the rest of the media team, I drafted a formal email just before leaving that Friday. It was essentially a notice before action, a legally worded document stating my grievance about the illegal salary deduction and my proposed resolution. I told them they needed to repay the deducted amount in our next wages, along with a formal apology to the entire team. I made it clear that failure to comply would result in legal action. Monday morning, both partners arrived late. Instead of the usual visit to our area to check on us, they went straight to their office and shut the door. Shortly after, we all received an email. It said that due to my threat, and after taking legal advice, they had been instructed to cease direct communication with any of us until the matter was resolved. Their proposed resolution was now that I should apologize to them and agree that the salary deduction should remain in place. All future communication should be via email only. I am fairly certain they had not actually received legal advice, or if they had, it was terrible. Any decent solicitor would have told them they were idiots and to give the money back immediately. By shutting down communication, they were essentially forcing me to pursue legal action, which defeated the entire purpose of a notice before action. I believe they thought I was bluffing and would not actually follow through. They reinforced this by adding that any further communication about the wage deduction would need to come from my legal representation. They were wrong. I was not bluffing at all. What they did not know was that a member of my family was educated in employment law and worked as a union representative at another company. By the end of that day, a properly drafted legal letter arrived on their desks outlining the illegality of their actions and the expected timeline going forward. The letter explained that within 30 days we were to have a formal meeting between the partners and myself, with me entitled to legal representation present. My original demands were to be met as they had no legal defense whatsoever. Should they refuse, this would proceed to tribunal or possibly full court, and they would be liable for all expenses. It was a slam dunk case, and they would end up with a hefty bill. Instead of backing down as I expected, they doubled down on their stupidity. Their office door remained permanently shut. Communication with the media team became almost entirely via email or through the office manager and office assistant. At this point, the office manager and office assistant, who were close with the serious partner, became openly hostile toward me. The office assistant, who made coffee for everyone each morning, now made it for everyone except me. It was petty and obvious. What they did not seem to realize was that I had the full backing of the rest of the team. The others might not have had the knowledge or courage to fight this themselves, but they understood that what I was doing would prevent the partners from taking advantage of us further. The work environment had become exceptionally toxic, and people started actively looking for other jobs. The deadline for the required meeting came and went. An extension was requested and granted, but they still did nothing. My representative sent another formal letter saying we were proceeding to tribunal. It also said that I would be leaving the company immediately and claiming constructive dismissal due to the documented workplace bullying from the partners, office manager, and office assistant over the previous weeks. The letter pointed out that the extension they had requested only gave them more time to create a paper trail of harassment. This finally broke their resolve. An apology arrived via email. They said they were sorry and promised that the money would be returned in our next paycheck. But I had had enough. I immediately handed in my 4-week notice. I had not found another job yet, but I had decided to move to the city and go freelance anyway. Before my notice period ended, the junior designer also resigned to go freelance. Within a few months of my departure, the junior developer and senior designer had done the same. The business was essentially dead. Many of their clients sought us out directly to continue working with us on a freelance basis. I learned later that the two partners eventually had a falling out. The tech-oriented one resigned as director and became chief technology officer at another tech company. The serious partner renamed and rebranded the old company and tried to carry on somehow, but to this day the work examples on their website are still the ones we created 15 years ago. Most of those clients are no longer with them or have gone out of business entirely. I also learned, as we had all suspected, that the tech-oriented partner wanted nothing to do with the wage deduction situation, though I am not sure how hard he fought against it. I am still connected with everyone from the media team online, and they are all doing well. The tech-oriented partner reached out a few years later, and he is doing well too. As for the serious partner, the office manager, and the office assistant, I have no idea. The office assistant was close to retirement anyway, so she probably ended up fine. Looking at the public records of the businesses the serious partner now owns, it is clear that none of them make any money. His travel and photography blogs stopped being updated years ago. His plans to retire early with his partner and travel the world are almost certainly permanently on hold now, as is his habit of buying a new car every few months. And the amount that was deducted from our wages, the amount over which he lost his business and his planned future, £6.80. My mom and I needed to pick up some groceries and household supplies one afternoon. After hitting a few stores and getting everything we needed, we were both starving. There's this restaurant chain that's everywhere in our country. The food is good, the prices are reasonable, and it's always packed. We decided to stop at the location near the shopping center. We placed our order at the counter, got our number, and found a table in the middle of the dining area. The place was busy like always with families, couples, and groups of friends everywhere. We started eating and catching up about our week. That's when I noticed her. A woman walked in with her partner. He looked average, kinda quiet, seemed like he just wanted to eat and leave. But she was something else. She wasn't dressed in the stereotypical way you'd imagine, no bob haircut or anything like that, but her clothes screamed expensive and flashy. Everything about her outfit said she wanted everyone to know she thought she was important. Gold jewelry, designer bag, the works. Her partner told her he would go order their food and asked her to find a seat. She nodded and started scanning the dining area. That's when she locked eyes on another woman sitting a few tables away from us. This other woman was just sitting there with her friend, eating and talking quietly. She looked nice. She had her hair done nicely and wore a pretty dress, but she wasn't doing anything to draw attention to herself, and she was literally just sitting there. But the first woman, let's call her Karen, just stopped and stared at her. Not a quick look, but a full-on intense stare. The other woman noticed and shifted uncomfortably in her seat. She tried to ignore it at first, but Karen kept staring. The other woman had enough and asked her to please stop staring. Karen didn't respond. She just kept staring. The other woman repeated herself and said she wanted Karen to stop staring. That's when Karen lost it. She screamed so loud that literally everyone in the restaurant stopped what they were doing and turned to look. She yelled about how the other woman dared to look prettier than her and called her absolute trash. The other woman asked what she meant by that. Her friend immediately jumped in and told Karen to calm down because she was causing a scene. Karen screamed that the other woman needed to get out of the place before her partner saw her. The friend asked why she should leave when she was just minding her own business and not doing anything wrong. By now, everyone was watching. Karen's partner had finished ordering and came over looking confused. One of the employees also rushed over to see what was happening. The partner asked what was wrong while the employee wanted to know what all the screaming was about. Karen yelled that the other woman thought she had the right to look prettier than her and was trying to seduce her partner. The other woman started crying. Not quiet tears either, but full-on sobbing. Her friend looked furious, and honestly, so did most of the other customers. People were shaking their heads, whispering to each other, giving Karen dirty looks. The employee told Karen she better stop right now or security would be called to remove her from the restaurant. Karen's partner tried to calm her down, looking embarrassed. He begged her to please just calm down. But Karen screamed about how she couldn't calm down when this attention-seeking witch was trying to seduce her partner. The friend asked Karen what she meant about the other woman trying to seduce her partner when the two of them had never even met before. She demanded to know how Karen could be so sure about her accusations. Karen told the friend to shut up and called her a jerk. Then Karen actually tried to slap the friend, just wound up and swung at her. Her partner grabbed her arm before she could make contact. The employee immediately pulled out their phone and called security. Within 2 minutes, 2 security guards showed up and escorted Karen out. She was screaming and yelling the whole way, saying she was being discriminated against, that everyone was against her, that the other woman should be the one kicked out. It was absolutely insane. After she was gone, her partner came back to the table where the other woman and her friend were sitting. He looked completely embarrassed. He apologized repeatedly for what had just happened and said there was no excuse for how Karen had acted. He apologized to the other woman and asked if she was okay. The other woman was still crying and couldn't really respond. Her friend spoke up instead and told him it wasn't his fault and that he should probably go. The partner apologized one more time before leaving. He looked defeated, probably went to find Karen outside. About 5 minutes later, the manager came out from the back. The employee had filled him in on everything that happened. He walked straight to their table and told them he heard what happened and apologized that they had to experience that in his restaurant. He said their meals that day were completely on the house and handed them some coupons they could use for their next visits. He apologized again for everything. The friend thanked him and slowly the other woman stopped crying. They finished their food and left quietly. My mom and I just sat there in shock the whole time. Even now, when I think about it, it feels surreal. Who just walks up to a stranger and accuses them of trying to seduce their partner when they've literally never even looked at each other? And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.